We are back. Welcome back, everybody. We're joined by a very special guest today, new guest on the show, Leah Holmgren, also known as Leah the Trader. Leah, welcome.
Hello, everyone. Hi, thanks for having me on the show.
So, your first time on here, maybe talk a little bit about yourself, how you got started trading, and where how you've arrived to where you are right now.
So I worked as a marriage counselor for a decade, and I was always fascinated by psychology, and I was investing since I was 18. So I always loved everything about psychology and money. And somehow 4.5 years ago, when world shut down, I was already investing for a long time, and I kind of start observing the markets more because I had the time to do it. And I was fascinated by the psychology behind the markets and money. So I kind of combined what I knew from my professional work and what I knew from my passion, right? Money and investing. And I started trading. So that was pretty much having a lot of time and a lot of knowledge that I combined. So I became a trader.
So where were you trading and what were you trading?
So when I started, it was early 2020, like February. I started trading just equities. I had no idea about options. And before I was investing passively only into ETFs. So I started trading equities actively. And then later on, I started progressing towards options about 6 months into trading. And then I started trading a lot of options and learning about options. So and that's what I've been doing until today. I started trading futures about 2 months ago.
So that's a whole new world.
It's
But
completely
it's not
new.
as complex as options trading. So, futures is a little more straightforward. You get a little more direct access to the price movement. What is your approach to trading? What kind of things do you look at?
After many years of doing this, I really love the approach less is more. It works for my personality. So I just really love to look at quality setups, and I like to be in those setups for momentum. So I do momentum trading mainly, swing trading breakouts. That's what I specialize in. And then when it comes to options, I love to do spreads and I love selling options. So that's what I do mainly. So that's kind of providing me additional income. But really just finding good setups every week, one or two, and then stick with them for 3 to 5 business days when the stock is going and I see more momentum until the momentum dries out. I pretty much stay in the trade. So
Yeah,
that's what I do.
it's funny. You kind of described my trading there. I'm a short-term swing trader as well for the most part. I typically, depending on the market, will not stay in a trade over a weekend. But during the week, I think swing trading can be quite effective. But there's no matter how effective your approach is or your quality setups, traders often get into trouble simply because they don't stay focused or they can't stay focused because of emotions, and that's a lot of what you talk about in your business, right?
Yeah, as a psychologist, I really coach traders and I help them to be more focused and to recognize when they are acting based on emotions and hasty decisions and when they don't have a plan, they don't have discipline. And I help them to determine actually what kind of trading is good for them because I think you should trade who you are. That's kind of my suggestion. Some people are fast. They like to trade futures or scalp or trade zero DTs. Some people are slower. They need more analysis and they like to do shorter term swing trading, right? So that's for different personality, to each their own. Some people love just investing, position trading. And I think they get in trouble when they, first of all, look on too many social media and let a million other people tell them what to do and react to that. So I think in trading, we should not be reactive. We should have a plan and be proactive. So that's number one issue. And then also, again, not following plan, not having stops. That's really, really huge. So I always try to explain to them the probabilities because a lot of new traders think, oh my God, I can't lose. If I lose, I'm a failure. It doesn't work that way, right? As we know, when you trade for a long time, even the top traders in the world lose 50% of time, oftentimes maybe even more, but they still make a lot of money. And this is what new traders have to understand. So I like to put the numbers on the table, so to say, and explain to them what's the point of successful trading. It's oftentimes not the win rate, but how you manage your risk.
Yeah, that is a really good point. The two things that I took away from that is one is that traders are not often consistent with their risk, right? So one trade will have big risk, one trade will have less risk, and it then becomes completely random which of their 50% of their trades become successful. And if they're all over the place with their risk management, there's just no way to build any consistency or any long-term profitability.
Yeah, exactly. If you lose $10,000 on one trade and 500 on another trade, and then you are making smaller gains, it's not going to work. And I have a Discord group where I try to lead people and teach them. And, I lose on trades also, but when I see the trade goes against me, I get out. Like, I have no ego. I don't mind losing small, right? I have my stop and I get stopped out. I don't care. I have no emotion around that. But when I know that I'm making money and I know the trade is going in my favor, I don't mind going more into risk and actually adding into a successful trade, not adding into a losing trade. And that's what many people also do, because they think, oh, I'm adding for a cheaper price. But then you do it until you run out of money, right? So these are all the mistakes that I even wrote in my little ebook that's for free. People can just download it on my website. 11 mistakes they ruin your trading account.
Yes.
And these are all the mistakes I've done also at the beginning, right? We all learn
Well, we
some
all do,
ways.
yes. What's great about, what's great about your content is that, everybody says, oh, I paid my dues when I first started trading. I had to do all that. My philosophy has always been, if you can just put in a little of education time, maybe you don't have to pay your dues so much, and you can get ahead of that curve. And I think that's what this kind of content, this kind of education really helps traders.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we have to blow our accounts. That's not true. I
No.
don't think that should be the rule, to be honest with you. Like, you see it oftentimes on Twitter or somewhere. Oh, I blew my account, but I guess we have to now, because that can be so traumatizing. And it can have such negative effect that you will never be able to recover. Or even if you start trading again, you will be traumatized you will be making trading decisions based on the negative experience you had. And that's really hard to recover from
Yeah.
psychologically.
Fear is not a good place to be trading from. I completely
Yeah.
agree. And going back a little bit earlier, we were chatting about, being able to deal with losing trades. And again, it goes back to the fact that you want to limit, the losses on each trade. You cannot, and like you said before, you don't want to blow out your account, or you don't even want to lose 50% of your account, because if you're down 50%, now there's this kind of emotion that says, oh, I need to trade more to get back. And that gets you into even more trouble.
Yeah, you need to make 100% back, right? That's it's just difficult. Yeah, I think people just start spiraling down when they're losing, and they start doing all sorts of crazy decisions. So I always suggest, when you feel like you're overwhelmed, you're on a tilt, so to say, and you have really ugly losing streak, there could be also a mood shift in the market, because a lot of people, they do really well when the market is trending. It doesn't matter if they go short or long, but the moment market is choppy, as we see this year has been very challenging for many traders. Of course, in futures trading, it's fun to have a kangaroo market, but if you are swing trading, it's nearly impossible to have nice risk to reward trades, right? So it's important as a professional trader to recognize what kind of market are you trading in and adjust the strategy. And if you can't trade the market, just wait. Another problem I see with many traders, they just want to trade every day, and they cannot stay calm and not have FOMO and say, you know what, just because I'm a trader, I don't have to take a trade. Because these small losses add up, right?
That's a great point. If you have a losing trade or two and you're just not feeling it, take the rest of the day off, or once in a while take the whole day off. That, maybe you're not, for some reason you're not trading well on Wednesdays. It doesn't hurt to take a Wednesday off and just get a fresh perspective on it. So I agree with that. Do
Yeah.
you have a way that you kind of manage, or I guess build a trade around account risk. There's trade risk, right? But there's
Mhm.
also account risk. And so what is your philosophy around managing that account risk as well?
So I usually try to not lose more than 1% of my full trading account on one trade. That's how I do the risk to reward for me. And sometimes if I'm very confident about a trade, I would do 2% risk. So for example, from $100,000, I structure my stop loss on $1,000. And that's what I stick with. And I stick with that every trade. And then after a quarter, I reevaluate if I'm up or down. Then I will adjust this risk unit. I just call it an hour. And that's how I trade. And every trade is the same. And then, of course, if I lose $1,000 on a trade, but then I have a trade that goes really well for me, and I will try to find setups that are having probability of more than 1 hour. Of course, it's not easy, especially in choppy market.
Sure.
Or then what is nice to also do for the account, I look at quarter of my trades and I average how much I was making on each trade. And then the average number would be my stop loss. So not 1% of the account, but let's say if I make on average $600 on a trade, that will be max I want to lose on a trade as well, because that's more showing my performance instead of just a simple math. So that's kind of a very good strategy.
I like that approach. I like that approach. Let's
Yeah.
let's shift gears a little bit and talk a little bit about what traders can do when they find themselves in trouble or they find themselves in a bad emotional place. What can a trader do to kind of snap out of that?
So I suggest, and I coached a lot of people, they lost a lot of money and they were literally spiraling down. So number one, stop immediately. Do not touch the market and calm down. And it doesn't matter how long it takes, because being in this kind of fight or flight, it is a fight or flight response, because losing money is same like getting chased by a predator. It is the same response in our body. So first of all, we need to calm down to be able to make rational decisions, and then reevaluate. Look, a lot of traders do not want to look and analyze their trades to actually find out why they are losing money, because it kind of feels bad. They don't want to look at their mistakes, but they have to face their mistakes to learn, right? So not trying to forget and analyze and realize why I'm making those mistakes, and try to work on a plan and try to see what I can improve. If they have a problem, they can reach out to mentor, right? It's not a bad idea to find someone who can help and analyze why I'm making those mistakes. Is it a psychological problem? Is it physiological? Am I tired? Am I going through a hard time in life? Or the market is just not, it's choppy and I can't trade this. So this is very important to analyze and take a break and then come up with a new plan. What can I improve? And even if it takes a month or two, it's okay. I took those breaks twice in my career when I had to sit down with myself, analyze, and take a break to calm down and even wait for a better market. If you're not doing well, there is a problem, right? And we need to find out what the problem is.
That's a great point, because the markets are always changing, and perhaps the setup or your approach works in a higher volatility environment. And now volatility has gone down, or vice versa, right?
Yeah.
And you just need to take some time to reevaluate and maybe retool the way you get in and out of markets.
Yeah, because low volatility environment, as we've seen this year, right? You get into a trade, it doesn't fly like it used to fly when we had higher volatility. So your mistakes are not corrected as fast, right? So if you lose $1,000, as I said, let's say 1 hour on a trade, it might take double as much to get back there, right? So people lose patience. They're like, well, it's not working. Then they're losing more than they're making. So it's time to reevaluate. Sometimes maybe change the strategy, And if you don't have a strategy, then one needs to learn a new strategy. Or as I went to learn futures, because I wanted to know how to trade kangaroo markets. Because swing trading I've been doing for 4.5 years wasn't working as well this year. So I wanted to learn something else. It's always a way to do it. Even with options, I like to do sell spreads, right? That also works really well in choppy market. And you can keep premiums, right? So yeah, we have to keep learning and evolving as traders all the time. And I'm not suggesting to completely change your approach and start trading. As you said, futures are completely different to options, but it's good to know what is out there.
It's interesting. One of the things that, as you're talking, I'm thinking about is expectation, knowing what your trading approach, what the results are, what the performance of that is, so that you can determine whether it's working or not working. A lot of times traders will be going along just fine, and then suddenly there's a drawdown. There's 4 or 5 losing trades in a row. Is that just a normal? Is that just the normal behavior of my strategy, or has something changed? So having a good understanding of what you're trading and what the performance of what you're trading is can be really critical.
Yeah, and it happens to all of us. Like I had mentors that were trading for decades, and they went through a drawdown that lasted a month or month and a half. And if it's happening, you have to size down, for example, like if you are a professional trader trading for a long time. As I said, some people need to take a break. Sometimes we just have to size down, or we have to reevaluate what's going on, right? So these are all things one can do. And again, it happens to everyone. And that's why new traders need to have their expectations straight and understand this will happen sometimes in their career. And they have to go through those times as well and take it as a robot, right? Not getting too emotional and managing these drawdowns.
It's funny, people come to trading. They are often very successful with their first career. They could be doctors or airline pilots, and they think they can come in and start trading and be successful because they're smart. I'm a smart guy. I'm a doctor. I should be able to trade and be successful at it. And they don't realize that they spent 8-10 years learning to be a pilot or a doctor. And trading is just as critical a profession as any, and in fact, maybe more so, because you're actually risking dollars based on your performance. And so one of the things that I think we need to get across is that this is a serious endeavor, and it takes education. It takes understanding yourself.
Yeah, it's like any other career. I mean, I spent 7.5 years doing my bachelor's and master's plus getting my certifications. It didn't happen overnight, right? So the same with trading. The issue is people look too much on social media with this and see all these fake overnight millionaires that I really do not believe in those numbers, to be honest. And they all think it's going to happen like that. Or oftentimes people ask me, hey, I have $2,000. I want to start trading. I'm hoping that I can change my life. Well, I have to be really brutally honest. Don't trade with $2,000. It's just really sad because a lot of these people just lose all the money immediately. And yeah, they have irrational expectations, and trading truly takes, it's not only about, I mean, the theory is not as much. We can learn the theory of trading in a couple of months, but then the practice is what really matters. To practice, and not only with paper trading, practice with real money and take it slowly and trading with little amounts at the beginning, to not risk all your money, because you need to feel the emotions of real money. People sometimes trade paper accounts for a year, and then they start real money trading, and they're completely shocked losing money because the feelings are absolutely different. So I always say it's like, as you said, flying a plane or becoming a therapist. You need 2,000 hours of practice to be able to work with people. So the same with trading. We just need practice.
Agreed, and I completely agree with your point that it's great to trade in the simulator to get that muscle memory on placing orders, but there's a completely different emotion when it's actual dollars, and you have to start small. I think you'd agree with that. That even if you had $100,000, you're not going to trade 1% of that $100,000 initially. You want to maybe start out at at half of that, or even less, to get comfortable with that real dollar, and then scale up when you can prove to yourself that you can be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I just look at how I was when I started trading. I was trading with a bigger account because I was saving my whole life and I had some money, but for me, losing just $200 on a trade already put me in a really, really frustrated spot
Yes.
because I never lost money
Agreed.
like this before. So I lost 200. I'm like, oh my God, I just lost money for my facial and makeup. You know what I mean? Like I just was really having a hard time with that. So
Yeah.
people should just trade with little. The issue is a lot of times they want to make a lot of money at the beginning and then they are oversizing and then they psychologically cannot take the loss. So what they do, they don't set the stop loss and they're hoping the market will correct the mistake. And look, in a nice raging bull market, usually it would, but look what happened in 21. The amount of companies that never came back, and they probably will never come back, and people lost all their savings. And it's just about how far the market can go with you. At
Yes.
what point you completely break apart and take this horrible, gigantic loss. And it will happen at some point because they scare you out or wear you out, the stocks. So I really suggest don't be greedy as a trader, new trader. Even if you trade with 10 shares or 5 shares, it doesn't matter. But what matters is to see your results after a month and see how much am I losing on the trade? Is this number consistent? How much am I making? Is this number bigger than the losing number? And once you get this discipline in 3-4 months, then increase and just keep doing the same thing just with more shares.
It's funny. I have in my brain, I have this graph that goes from I'm stressed to I'm not stressed, and it's all depends on the trade size, right? So I know what trade size I should be trading so that I'm not stressed during the trade. If I lose the trade, that's okay. But if I go over a certain number of contracts, then my whole mindset changes.
Yeah, because we all have our pain level, right? I increased our 100% in January this year. That's what I was trading for many years. And quite frankly, it was tough at the beginning. I was having a hard time to lose as much money on a trade. So I was like, maybe 100% was too much, but I wanted to just get there. But again, it all depends on you. If this number is uncomfortable, look, we always will be like, I lost money, right? It's never going to be like, oh yeah, I lost money. But it
Yes.
has to be, okay, I lost money, but I know I can make them back and it doesn't affect me more than 2 minutes. If you lose a number on a trade and then you're up all night because of that, it's too much. Adjust it.
I totally agree. That's an interesting approach. You start out with $100,000 account, you're risking 1%. Let's say you run that up to 150,000. Maybe you don't stay at 1%. Maybe you back it off a little bit until you're comfortable and then raise it back up to that 1%. But I like that
Exactly.
approach.
Yeah, so the 1% to me is the max you can risk, but you can go below. If you trade with 500,000, some people have the money. I'm not suggesting you should risk 5,000 on a trade. That's crazy. Two losing trades a day is $10,000. How do you feel about it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's kind of a max. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. So you're the founder of you're the founder of oh, I'm sorry, just flew out of my mind.
No worries. Trading Mindset and Data, shortcut
Trading Mindset and
TMAT.
Data. Tell us about that company a little bit. Sorry.
I started a trading Discord in February this year, and I was coaching people since September last year. I had Leah cohort where it was a very intense 5 weeks program to help people with what I was just saying, find out who they are, what mistakes they're making, work on a discipline, and teach them technical trading. So now we have a Discord where I work together with my friend from Switzerland, who is our analyst, and I have a quant who does a lot of levels on SPX and ES every morning for those who wants to trade as such. And yeah, we have members. We have about 200 members, which is really nice, and that's my daily routine. I trade there.
So how do they get in touch with you? I know you have a YouTube presence,
Yeah, I have
right?
YouTube Leah the Trader, and the website is called tradingmindsetandData.com. They can find us and read about us. And then of course I'm on X under Leah the Trader or Mindset and Data. That's our TMAT profile where we post a lot of stuff. I'm on Reddit as well. So all over the place. It's easy to find.
So I'm going to give you the last word here. If you had one piece of advice to give that new person just getting started trading, what would you tell them? How should they approach that?
So, as I said, just start very slowly, have expectations in place, be very disciplined, because if you're someone messy who can't keep regular disciplined schedule, as sad as it sounds, I don't think trading is good for you. And if you try to do this for 6 months and you're losing money, or a year and you're still losing money and it just doesn't work for you, I would love people to understand that this is not an industry for them, and rather just invest and let the money work for you without losing them. Because a lot of times I saw people struggling for so long and they kept trying and losing money. So let's stay realistic, and good luck to all the new traders. I hope it will work out for you, because trading is so much fun.
I love that philosophy. As a broker, obviously we want to bring in new traders, we want them to trade. But to be honest, our underlying philosophy here is that, if this isn't for you, we don't want you here either. And we want you to have and live your best life. And if that's being a trader, fantastic. But part of my role and my team's role is to kind of help people determine that. We give them the information they need, and try to point out, like with sessions like this, that this is not necessarily for everyone. So we completely agree with you. So thank you so much for being with us this first time. We'll have you back again. Maybe we'll take a little bit deeper dive in how you trade. But thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you very much, Mike, and the team and NinjaTrader. It was a pleasure to be here. Have a good day.
We'll see you again for sure. All right, everybody, we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Midday Wrap Up.